Hello, Dazzle. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. I'm glad that you're here. Today, I wanted to talk about why I love the horror genre so much and why I think it matters to us as a society. In general, the horror genre is about engaging with our shadow work. For those that are not familiar with this idea, the shadow is one of the four major archetypes identified by Jung. Within the shadow is all of the things that are considered undesirable within our society. This is considered to be the darkness within each of us. When we engage in shadow work, we're taking on the things within our shadow and attempting to understand them well enough to maintain a mastery and a balance with them. There's no way that a human can cut away or remove their darkness, but we can learn to contain and control that darkness. This kind of work means confronting our internal biases, mastering our emotions, containing our impulsivities, and such. When we approach the horror genre, it is engaging shadow work. Horror provides us a safe frame within which to think about the darker aspects of ourselves and our culture. It allows us to explore what it means to be evil and why we should aim not to be. Within the world of horror, there are the monsters, which are the manifestations of our fears and our internal shadows. These are the things that embody the human darkness. I would argue that all horror presents us with a monster of some variety. Regardless of the subgenre of horror, it is true that the monster subgenre embraces the monster and puts it at the center of the stage. But all horror is about the exploration of our monsters, which leads to the question, what is a monster? The etymology of monstrosity suggests the complex roles that monsters play within society. Monster probably derives from the Latin monstrare, meaning to demonstrate, and monere, to warn. Monsters, in essence, are demonstrative. They reveal, pretend, show, and make evident, often in really uncomfortable ways. All monsters act as important social tools. But this isn't the manner in which people usually define or think about monsters. Most of the time, we think of them as being more as they are defined in the dictionary. An animal of strange or terrifying shape, an animal or plant of abnormal form or structure, or a threatening force. They are the grotesque, the different, the powerful. They are the forces in the world that are considered not to be human. Monsters are the things that scare us because they're the things that are considered to be other and outside of our allowed social boundaries. By defining what a monster is, we are defining what a human is not. In this way, monsters serve as a boundary to our humanity. We work out the edges of where we're allowed to exist without becoming something other than being a human. How we define monsters matter. They define what it means to be evil. And generally speaking, being classified as a monster gives society permission to hunt, kill, or otherwise destroy the thing that has been labeled as being a monster. And this is why the murderers and rapists are generally labeled as being monsters. Society has deemed that their behavior is so undesirable as to warrant the eradication of the individuals that engage in that behavior. When we tell horror stories, we're telling monster stories. Monsters are the most extreme examples of othering. They are the others that can no longer be accepted within the realm of how we define humanity. Thus, we're exploring the other as well as ourselves. When we consider the other, we're also by default considering our self-image. Othering requires that we create a boundary between us and the other. And this validates the reality and the existence of the self as a distinct entity. Othering is a way to affirm that we are in fact the person that we believe ourselves to be. And monsters represent the strangeness of others and thus helps to structure the self and the group the self belongs to. Accordingly, they are used to draw boundaries between the I and the I am not. The greatest works within horror genre challenge where we draw these lines. These works demand that we reconsider what it means to be human and where the lines of otherness should be drawn. It's important that we constantly reconsider where we've drawn these boundaries. The lines of otherness is what allows someone to be considered a monster. Thus, it is essential that we're careful about where we've marked out these boundaries. The horror genre matters because it encourages us to do the essential shadow work that we often neglect. It also gives us a safer and an easier way to engage in that process. Horror can often be so subtle that it can get people to engage in their shadow work without them ever realizing that that's what they're doing. And anything that has the power to challenge our inner biases also has the power to create real change.
Do it.
Well, that's about it for my rambling today. Thanks for coming and spending some time with me. If you liked the video, click on the like button. It really does help. And until we can talk again, you guys be sure to take care of yourselves. Bye!